This is why blocking spam calls never stops them.
What do you mean? Is that just some random caller?
No. When your phone lights up like that with unknown numbers, it's not the callers, it's the massive leak behind them.
Okay, so what do you do?
Well, I ran my number through Cloaks, and within seconds it found my data on 120 plus data broker sites, and then it started removing them. Just one click. No forms, no emails, they're just gone.
And the spam just stops.
Yeah, my phone went silent. Text stopped, scammers lost access to me. If you want your phone back, click the link below to finally stop spam at the source.
Used to be our only friend in the Middle East. We can go into that. How many foreign bases does Iran have?
0.
One small little outpost in Eritrea. Eritrea, one little outpost. We've got 740 some bases. How many does Russia have? I don't know the number, but it's under 100. China, how many bases around the world? Nowhere near. I mean, so we are acting like an empire. And then you have to, the thing that frightens me is not that we're an empire. The thing that frightens me is that historically every empire has eventually fallen. And it falls because it falls because of maintenance. People don't attack it. It can't maintain itself any longer. It gets so spread out and tries to do so much, and people aren't supporting it, right? And when people stop supporting it, then you have to fight them for it, and that takes energy away from your populace. So now instead of, again, fixing our infrastructure, we're sending money overseas to other countries.
Why do we send so much money overseas?
I have no idea.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is greed.
The only thing you can think of is
greed.
Greed and control. Honestly, here we go. Ready? I think our country is occupied. I think most of our politicians are beholden to other forces.
Do you think they even know that?
Oh, yeah, they do.
All of them?
It would be hard not to.
Do you feel like the caliber of person that's going into politics is lower caliber than before?
I think they're opportunists.
You think they go in as opportunists?
I think many of them do. I think many of them go in with all the right reasons and then get corrupted. I have a friend in Atlanta that is running, and he asked, hey, I'm running, right? I'm the challenger. I can use funding. Can you help out, right? I said, I'd love to, but I said, as a friend, I would hate to see you win. Because if you win and you go there, you will become dirty. You can't get around it. You will need to make deals with devil. And it starts with a small one, and then a bigger one, and then a bigger one. And eventually you get 4 or 5 years down the road, you're like, I'm bought. I can't help it. I did it for all the right reasons. But now I owe this person that because I agreed to that, and I owe this person this because I agreed to this. And I don't think either of those are right, but I have no choice. You're trapped. You're trapped.
I think that certain people are propped up because they would be very easy to manipulate. I think you see that all over
Now,
Congress.
let's not talk about the Epstein files here, right? I'm sure there was none of that in there.
Yeah. But I think that some of these freshman congressmen and probably senators as well. I think that they have been hand-selected because they are young and stupid.
They're young. They're impressionable.
Easy
They
to
need
manipulate.
funds. And just so happens there's a huge pack out there that's ready to give them everything they need to win because they want their support.
Who do you think we're occupied by?
A pack.
A lot of people think that.
The evidence is there. The evidence is all there. It's
All right, Jimmy, hello. Sarah, hello. Caleb, hello. Elevator, hello. Okay, hello. Thank you for being here. I'll be back, okay? Worth code, thank you for being here. All right, we've got 14 minutes. All right.
come on. We send $18 billion a year to Israel. Why?
$18 billion.
Just ask the question, what do we get out of it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Are we doing humanitarian work?
Nope.
No, they're charged with genocide. They're killing off Palestinians. Are we helping them survive?
Nope.
They've got a higher standard of living than we do.
They live better
a
than me and
longer
you.
lifespan than we do. Free education, free housing, free health care. We're sending them money. Why? Ask yourself why a U.S. congressman can wear an Israeli military uniform in congressional chambers. I would think that would be an act of treason,
You would think.
but they did. Nobody said anything. Ask why the Israeli prime minister can bypass the president, fly directly in and speak to our Congress without any other government interaction.
I didn't know that could happen.
Oh yeah, we did. Flew straight in, bypassed the president, talked to the Congress. Congress gave him 26 standing ovations. I think most pop stars would like 26 standing ovations. Our Congress gave Netanyahu, a foreign prime minister, 26 standing ovations. I have difficulty looking at that in any other way than we're occupied. Statistically speaking, we have shown that whoever spends the more money on an election wins 94% of the time. Whoever spent the most wins. We can also show that every time somebody spoke out against Israel or AIPAC, the next election, their challenger was highly funded and wins. The facts are all there. All you have to do is look at them. Now, we shut down that conversation quickly, right? Whenever we try to talk about it, you get told, well, that's anti-Semitic. No, it's not. Calling things the way they are is not anti-Semitic. Right? In my book, I have a whole section on Zionism where I cover this. Mearsheimer and Waltz wrote a book called The AIPAC Lobby, where they went in depth and looked at this. And again, the data's there. You just have to look at it. Their book, they got threatened. They got threatened with personal harm and shut out of a lot of things as soon as they published their book.
What happened to him?
They're still teaching right now at universities and whatnot, but their book did not, it sold well, but did not take off as much as it should. It got hammered by people saying, well, this is just anti-Semitic. You hate us. I'm like, you know what? Again, I cover a whole section on Zionism. Zionism is a political movement. Excuse me. Zionism is a political movement that says you must agree with everything Israel does, no matter what. I don't agree with everything the U.S. does, no matter what. Why should I agree with another government? If you're doing something wrong, I should be able to say so. That has nothing to do with Judaism. It has nothing to do with the rights of Jewish people. We're talking about a political movement that is bought much of the Congress of the United States, if not many of the presidents. We had Biden come out and say, I am a Zionist. Really? You support another country's expansion over everything, no matter what? Aren't you supposed to be the president of the United States? That doesn't seem right.
I mean, we've seen a lot of things. For example, when we bombed Iran, it's been told to me by people on the inside that not one of our 18 intelligence agencies reported that they were enriching uranium. Then Mossad comes along and tells us they're enriching uranium.
Absolutely.
And we said, so what?
It was the number one source of, hey, they've got weapons of mass destruction. Mossad. If you look at it,
So let me ask you this, because I've heard all this before, and I didn't know we were going here. I'm not afraid of the conversation. I do know there's a lot of loudmouths out there that are just spewing this shit for views and fame or whatever they want. And so it gets hard. It gets hard to, just like the information war that we were talking about, it gets hard to figure out what is bullshit and what's not.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things visible, like what I just said, happening right now. Probably more under this administration than the last, at least from what I'm noticing. And it's fucking alarming. Very alarming. In fact, it seems like just about everything we do, they have influence over.
more than we would think. And again, once you start to see it, you notice it. Before you see it the first time, you don't even think about it, right? Once you start to notice, then you're like, this is everywhere. Yeah, kind of. kind of is everywhere.
So let me ask you this. Because I've heard that I didn't know that they were calling the weapons of mass destruction. I was busy back then. I was involved, and
Right.
I didn't have time to look
I
around.
didn't have the nice to
geopolitics.
stop and think, let's talk about that.
But so what is the goal? What is the goal?
Who's cool?
Well, if we are occupied by Israel, then what is their goal?
The greater Israel. Now, what does that mean?
Does that mean we become Israel?
No. It's interesting. The Israelis have this idea, similar to what we had, of manifest destiny. It is our destiny to control this much. Their idea is pretty much all of Palestine, about half of Lebanon, about half of Syria, all of Jordan, and a great swath of Saudi Arabia, what is now Saudi Arabia. Now you would think that seems pretty ambitious. All you have to do is look at an Israeli uniform right now. We have an American flag on our shoulder. Look at the Israeli uniforms. They have a symbol of what they call the Greater Israel, which is everything I just told you. Palestine, part of Lebanon, part of Syria, all of Jordan, Saudi Arabia. That's what they have on their uniform right now. That's what their vision is. That's what they want.
Why? Why do they want those specific regions?
They believe that that is their God-given land. God gave it to us, all of this. We deserve it back. We'll take it. You've been in the Middle East. I've been in the Middle East. When I start looking at a lot of the things we've done in the Middle East, at first we say, well, it's because of oil, it's because of this. Even that doesn't always fit. The thing that fits the closest is when you start saying, how does this affect Israel? Iraq was building a huge military force. It would have been a threat to Israel. We need to get rid of that. Weapons of mass destruction. We'll go in and kill 1 million Iraqis and and destroy all of their military. Okay, no longer an issue. Libya is growing a huge military. They're also trying to break away from the dollar and form a pan-African monetary system that would challenge the American dollar as a trading thing. We can't have that.
Wait, that's not part of BRICS. There's another initiative.
Oh, this was before. I said before with Gaddafi. Sorry. Yeah, this is not BRICS. Before with Gaddafi, Gaddafi had the idea of a thing he called, I don't remember what it was, but it was basically a pan-African currency that they could use and not use the dollar.
Didn't Gaddafi actually mention something about Zionism in the U.S.?
He did, yeah. He said, yeah.
What did he say?
He was saying that the Zionist influence was keeping the U.S. entrenched in the Middle East to do their bidding, basically. And he fought against that. So what happens? The U.S. go in and bomb him and kill him. And you wanted to know, what have we done? Was Gaddafi a great leader? No. He did a lot of bad things. He tortured people and everything. We have Guantanamo Bay, right? We're waterboarding people and whatnot, and what we say we're not, but anyway. But he also took a country that had a literacy rate of less than 5% and got it up to almost 100%. He made infrastructure so that they had water and they had electricity. He increased education. They started, having more entrepreneurs. He gave every newly married couple funds to help purchase their own house so that they could all be affluent. The country was growing.
Sounds like a lot of shit that needs to happen in the U.S.
Yeah. then we bomb them. And now it's been civil war and strife, and it's nothing what it used to be. Again, going back to, were we the good guys? Why did we do that? Well, we did it to protect our dollar economy. We did it to protect Israel from their military. Now we've got Iran. Iran's building a big military. Can't have that, because if Israel tries to move in, Iran will fight them. We'll get rid of it. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but the more you look at this, the closer the parts fit. And you start putting all the parts together, and you're like, call me crazy, but the data is showing this. And you've got that whole concept of Occam's razor, right? You cut away everything that can't be true, and what's left, regardless of how plausible it sounds, is what the truth is. Then you start cutting things away and looking at it, and you're like, this pretty much leads to one conclusion.
This hits different when somebody like you is talking about it.
It's a tough subject. The opening part of this section in my book, I say something to the effect of, when you're searching for the truth, eventually you come across something that is so sensitive, so highly protected, that to even question it risks ruin. And in our government, that topic is Zionism. As soon as you go down that path, you are courting ruin. Mearsheimer and Waltz found that out. I had friends after they read this saying, you need to start looking after your personal safety, because they are not going to like this. I told them, hey, the book's out. Doing something to me wouldn't hurt me. People like you have more of a risk because you're an ongoing, show. But still, as soon as you address this topic, than just pushback.
I've seen it.
No doubt. No doubt.
Are you worried?
I'm not. I'm not. Me personally, or as a country?
You personally.
Me personally, I'm not. Like I said, the book's already out. Yeah, the bell has been rung. What do? I'm retired. You know, yeah, can you go after my Social Security? Okay. Yeah, I mean, look at what we're doing, you know, to our admirals. Can things happen? Sure. Does that mean we should be quiet? No. If you're afraid to speak the truth, you've already lost. If we believed that, then we wouldn't be a country. Our founding fathers would have just not said anything and said, well, if we fight the British, we could lose, you know, our land. Mm-hmm. Did they shy away from that? No, they didn't. That's why we're a country.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
How else are we being influenced?
Money. I mean, I hate to say that capitalism is the problem. Capitalism is the best economical system we've been able to find on this planet so far. But it needs a little bit of pruning. I mean, if you let a rose bush grow without pruning, you don't get pretty roses. You get a big, gnarly bush that's got a lot of thorns on it. But if you prune it and keep it growing, you get something beautiful. Our government is so focused on money and where the money goes. We have this system now, and I get it. Congressmen should fight for things for their people in their state, right? That's the way our system is set up. But there's also got to be some sort of conscious control over it somehow. And I don't have the answer to what that means. Excuse me. But there's got to be a way to not do what we're doing. The F-35 was a great example of this. A part of it is built in all 50 states. Really? Is that the most efficient way to do that? We've got parts being built in places that have no infrastructure to build them. So we'll go build a big factory because every state needs a part of the pie, right? And instead of saying, well, hey, we'll take this from this program, you guys take that from that program, every senator and congressman is in there fighting, saying, we need a part of every single program. I mean, we've got parts from the Navy being built in, you know, Montana, Wyoming, and Kansas. Really? Is that the most efficient? And then we'll ship them all somewhere else and see if they fit. And if there's a change, we'll ship them back, and then they'll change it, and we'll ship them back. And like, it creates so much waste. But it is all driven by money. Who gets the money? And we haven't even gotten into. That doesn't answer your question about how we're being controlled.
It doesn't. Tell me
What it
about
does is,
APEC.
ever since we did the Citizens United and said that companies are to be treated like individuals and they can have the freedom of speech and freedom of choice to do what they want, we now have large corporations, similar to what APEC is doing, giving huge amounts of money to candidates. And if you get hundreds of thousands or a million or millions of dollars from a donor, you are going to help do what they want you to do. There's no way around that. And we have large corporations doing that. We have healthcare doing that. We have defense doing that, defense contractors.
We have billionaires doing
We
that.
have billionaires doing it, right?
Individuals doing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I want to ask you more about APEC,
Yeah.
because I've heard a lot about this too. I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talk about it. I saw something with Matt Gaetz the other day where he was talking about they would hang a barcode over each congressman and senator and literally scan it. And there comes your donation.
Yeah, right.
At least I think that's what he was saying, something along those
I
lines.
hadn't heard that.
Anyways, so I dove into some of the sites and I looked at to see, how much money is APEC donating to congressmen, senators. Yeah, I mean, it's. I don't think it's a substantial amount.
It's not.
I don't think it's a substantial. I looked and it's 50,000 here, 250,000 here. Yeah, 50,000 can make a lot of people dance and do whatever the fuck you want. But I mean, if you're making what $175,000 a year in Congress, I mean, is 50 grand really that much? No. Is it really enough to make you sell your country out?
No.
I don't know. So then I called some friends that are in Congress and in Senate, and I asked them about it, and they are staunch defenders of Israel, going off of their faith, what the Bible says. That's how they decipher it. Fair enough. They're doing what they believe in. And it sort of told me that they go, if you think that the APEC has a lot of funds, then you should look at the Saudi Arabia PAC.
Without a doubt.
And so then I hear that and I'm like, all right, and I love this person, I trust this person. I think that I don't want to reveal his name, but
Who controls Saudi
I've seen-
Arabia?
I have
Israel.
no reason to think that guy is not doing what he truly believes in and is serving. It's one of the only fucking people in there. So I take what he has to say very, very seriously. So tell me, because that's what I know. I know that they are not registered as a foreign lobbying firm or whatever that is.
Yeah. When?
When what?
You gotta go back and always ask when. So AIPAC didn't start as AIPAC. It started as the American Zionist something group. And said, you need foreign country. The American Zionist whatever group, I forgot their name again, should have registered. Instead, they renamed themselves AIPAC and said, we are no longer representing a foreign company. We are now representing Americans registering as an agent. Almost sleight of hand, but okay. And you're absolutely right. Go look and see how much money AIPAC has contributed to people. In the big scheme of things, minimal. So let's say, and I know this would never happen, right? But let's say I wanted to give you some money, but I don't want everybody to know that I gave you money. What can I do? Crypto. I can go call 10 of my friends and I go, hey, I want you to go give Sean 20,000, and you give Sean 20,000, and you give Sean 20,000, you give Sean 20,000. I've got 200 friends. All of a sudden, you've got a lot of money. Now, who donated to you? Individuals. A company here, an LLC there, an individual here. AIPAC itself is not giving a large amount of money, but they orchestrate huge amounts of money. They tell people, you should support this candidate. And if you start, and this is again where you start pulling the thread, if you start going down a few levels and looking, then you start finding this. There's another, AIPAC used to do a lot of things that they don't do now. There is another organization.
But yet you're here. Yet you're here and you're commenting. All right, I'll be back. Right, we got coffee. We got order. All right. Is he coming back? All right. All right. Hello, hello, everybody. All right. We're here. We got coffee. we are good to go. All right, Mark, I think you're trolling us. What city does he work for? All right, Mark, you're getting blocked. All right, bye, Mark. There we go. Almost there. You are. There we go. All right, there we go. Goodbye. See how easy that was? Real easy. All right.
Forgot the name. Their sole purpose is education. We're trying to do education, a lofty goal, right? We all agree education is good. What does that mean? They're a 501c3, so you can donate to them and your money is tax deductible. All they do is pay for congressmen and people in power to have free trips to Israel so that they can go show them, look how wonderful we are. We gave you a free trip to Israel. We'll take you around Tel Aviv and show you how wonderful this is and why we need more money, and then send you home. But it's education, right? Is that AIPAC? They're affiliated, and AIPAC works with them, right? There's 5 or 6 other larger groups. Last I saw, there were over 200 charities, groups, political action committees that support this. And that's just the groups that are registered. That's not the individuals. So AIPAC, think of AIPAC like a clearinghouse. They're the clearinghouse, but they're good. You can't just say, hey, you just gave $2 million to this person. But again, look at the results. Every time there's a person in Congress that speaks out against Israel, the very next election, they have a challenger who's very pro-Israel that has huge amounts of funding. That's not by accident. That didn't just happen. And it's not just that it happened in one state. It happens in every single state in the union. That's not accidental.
Are they the only ones doing this?
Pardon? Are they the only ones? Or are they the only ones? I don't know.
What about China?
In the U.S., I don't feel like they have that much that they need to control with us. They already own so many things. We've let them buy properties and buildings and businesses.
Our power grid?
You know, we buy Chinese goods because they're cheap.
Well, I mean, if you look at, there's a handful of politicians that have Chinese businesses. Mitch McConnell, one of them, is a shipping business. Feinstein had something all of them.
It's amazing how you go into Congress with a net worth of $400,000, you get paid $170,000 a year, and 4 or 5 years later, you're worth $8 to $10 million.
Oh yeah, we talked.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
It's amazing. Tell me that that's ethical.
I don't think anything in DC is ethical.
No, I agree. I agree. And we can sit here and tell everybody everything's wrong, right? That doesn't do anything. The only way to start fixing these things is to be informed, understand what's happening, and try not to be influenced by it.
How far does this go back?
At least 50s,
Why would happen in the 50s?
at least 40s. Before that, actually, and again, I'm going to go back to the whole Israeli thing. So Israel was created in our current world by Resolution 181 of the United Nations that said the Israeli people should have a homeland of their own. Many people know that fact. What they don't know is that same Resolution 181 said you may not displace people that already live there. It didn't say you get to have a state that is only Jewish and everybody else has to be.
All right, we got our order delivered. We're good. All right.
Resolution 181. That was passed in November of 1947. In 1948, Israel declared itself a distinct, free, and new nation. You know how government works. When somebody says something and you want a resolution or you want to do something, how long does that take in government? Years. Could be. Israel just declared themselves independent. President Truman recognized them 7 minutes later.
That's good.
7 minutes.
7 minutes.
It's like he's hovering over the phone, just waiting for the call. They said they're independent now. I recognize Israel. What about the rest of the resolution? Did you recognize Palestine at the same time? No. Had Truman recognized Palestine and Israel at the same time, we wouldn't be having this issue. But we started it off right there. That was where it started. And of course, you can go back to the Balfour Agreement.
What's that?
Sykes-Picot. So there were a couple of people.
This is going on during World War II.
Oh, yeah, before. Well before. Well before. So Theodore Herzl, a paper called Der Judenstaat in German, and it means the Jewish state. And he said the Jewish people should have their own state. They should be allowed, to not be under any other state because we should be our own people. Right? He petitioned the British government and said, hey, you know, we need to make a place for the Jews. Lord Balfour, who was, I forgot his position, but he was a lord in the government, wrote a letter that said the British government recognizes that the Jewish people should have their own state. Well, the British government didn't actually say it, Lord Balfour did, but the British didn't want to be embarrassed and say we're going to go against one of our own lords, so they didn't refute it. Herzl and some others took this and then petitioned the League of Nations and said we should be our own state. They said, well, we don't recognize you yet, right? After World War II, feeling a lot of guilt, they again pulled up the Balfour letter and said, you guys said we should get our own state. You need to do something. After World War II, we're carving up all the land, right? Sykes and Picot, the two people that were assigned to kind of figure everything out, said, well, we'll give this to Israel. We'll give the Hashemite kingdom over here to this brother who helped us fight the Ottomans, and then we'll carve out this part over here. We'll call that the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan. We'll make the rest of Palestine a mandatory Palestine we'll continue to manage. You know, and they divvied everything up pretty much on the back of a napkin. There was not a lot of thought. They drew lines and said, what do you think about this? Yeah, okay, we'll do that. That was Sykes-Picot. That basically distributed everything, all the land, after World War II. Palestine became the mandatory Palestine under British rule. Palestinians didn't really like that. Neither did the Jewish people. There were a lot of battles between Israelis and the British, and Palestinians and the British. You know, and then the British finally at one point said, you know, we're out. Kind of like the French did in Vietnam. Right? Said, yeah, we're done, we're out. And they left. And Israel took what they were supposed to have and expanded and took all sorts of other land, expelling all sorts of Palestinians. There's the Nakba, the catastrophe of when all of these Palestinians were forced out of their land. And now you hear things like, well, you know, there's the right of return. Sounds good. Until you realize the right of return doesn't mean Palestinians. Palestinians don't get to return. The right of return is a term that Israel uses that says anybody that's Jewish can come back here. Well, what about the people you kicked out? Yeah, they can't come back. We're not letting them back. I mean, today, try having Palestinian ancestry and going into Israel. You'll be disallowed. You won't be allowed in. So yeah, this is not new. This has been going on for 70 years at least, and had the precursors. realize we don't understand what the motivations are. Right? What do you think?
I don't know yet.
I'd join you with that. It's a journey. It's a journey as you build more information and you start looking in. I've got to tell you, when I was researching this book, I rejected a lot of information when I first heard it. I would hear information and I would think that can't be right. I don't believe that. I would say the same thing, right? Then I'd find a second piece and be like, well, that supports that, but God, if I believe that, that leads to a dark place, and I don't want to believe that. And then I find more and more information, and after a while, you're like, I can't argue it anymore. This is true. We have people, we have organizations in our country that are controlling our Congress, not for the good of Americans. I don't like that. It leads me to a bad spot. But I can't refute it. I don't have any conclusive evidence to the opposite, and I have a large body of evidence that shows that is true. And I always tell people, prove me wrong. For God's sakes, give me more info. I'm happy to change my opinion, and if you can show me information that this is not correct, that is yet to happen. Gives you pause, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's take a break.
Sounds good.
At Vistaprint, we know you've got that idea for your business, like the one that stops people mid-walk. But once that idea is on flags, vinyl banners, A-frame signs, it's so much more than an idea. Print your possible with code NEW20 for 20% off your first order at Vistaprint.com.
Motivation comes and goes, but habits are what carry you through. And by mid-February, when that January drive fades and winter routines start to slip, AG1 is one of the easiest habits you can build to stay consistent. Most supplement routines are way too complicated. Too many pills, too much timing. AG1 simplifies everything. Multivitamin, pre- and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants all in one scoop. It's a simple daily reset that supports foundational nutrition no matter how unpredictable your schedule gets. It takes about 20 seconds. One scoop, 8 ounces of water, done. I take it first thing in the morning, before tea or my phone, and it anchors the rest of my day. The new next-gen formula adds even more clinically backed vitamins and minerals to help fill common nutrient gaps. Plus, energy support from B vitamins and immune support from antioxidants and functional mushrooms. I use this every single day, and you should too. AG1 now comes in original, citrus, berry, and tropical. My favorite is berry, but they're all solid. AG1 has over 50,000 verified 5-star reviews and comes with a 90-day money-back guarantee. For a limited time only, go to drinkag1.com/SRS to get a free AG1 flavor sampler and AGZ sampler to try all the flavors. Plus, free vitamin D3 plus K2 and AG1 welcome kit with your first AG1 subscription order. This is a limited time offer, only available while supplies last. That's drinkag1.com/SRS. drinkag1.com/SRS. Want more from The Sean Ryan Show? Join our Patreon today for more clips and exclusive content. You'll get an exclusive look behind the scenes where you can watch the guests interact with the team and explore the studio before every episode. Plus, unlock bonus content like our extra intel segment. Insights, where we ask our guests additional questions. Our new SRS on-site specials and access to an entire tactical training library you will not find anywhere else. And the best part? Patreon members can ask our guests questions directly. Your insights can help shape the show. Join us on Patreon now, support the mission, and become part of the Sean Ryan Show's story. All right, Michael, we're back from the break. It's a very unexpected turn.
It did. It went a little deeper than I thought we would, but that's okay. These things need to be talked about.
Let's continue.
All right. Where do we start?
I don't know. You're the expert.
All right. It's,
We're being influenced.
it's not just us. There has been a lot of pushback in Great Britain about the same thing. Too much Zionist influence. The thing is you need to have a strong democracy with strong freedoms of speech, assembly, and some sort of rules about making donations and things without limits. That constrains how much effect can Zionism have in China? Not much. They don't get to do that, right? So they're a little blocked there. Russia has its own reasons for doing whatever it is it's going to do, right? Do they support Israel? Some. The effect we have our own freedoms used against us. And our founding fathers, they were smart men. But I heard the statement they weren't demigods. Country, could they think of anything? No. Could they have, in their wildest dreams, imagined the internet, instantaneous communication everywhere, freedom to do the things we do today? There's no way. They envisioned senators and congressmen being business people or farmers that would come and serve for a period of time and go back, right? They never envisioned having a whole class of people whose lifelong job was to go serve in Congress. Yeah, that was never part of the vision. And it's these things that give rise to the nuances that allow the influence from foreign governments or proponents of foreign governments that we see today. And I'm not a congressional lawyer that goes deep in this, but from what I've seen,
Oh, hey, Cole's mom. Remember, no direct eye contact.
But if you disclose it in any way, it's going to put me in a position where I want to withdraw from the case. If you all choose to go on the internet and try to publicize this stuff, that's going to create real problems. You can't do it. I'm telling you, you cannot do it. I will have to withdraw from this. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So make sure everybody's aware of that. Okay. If any of that is posted anywhere on the internet, we're going to have problems. Whatever copies have been made of that, those need to be destroyed. Okay.
pop-on siding? We need 50 homeowners in your area to trial this radically simple new siding service. Get this, at no cost to try. This service is part of a program they're running to connect homeowners with professional pop-on siding technicians in your area. Pop-on siding is the latest innovation in home exteriors. It is beautiful and so easy to install. They don't even have to tear off your old exterior. They can just pop these panels on in a day, right over the top. It's so fast and easy. Go ahead and sign up. It won't cost you anything. There's no risk, no obligation. This site will tell you if there's still eligibility in your area. This beautiful siding could not only improve your house value, but also decrease your monthly electrical and heating bills significantly. So click the link below this video, connect, and calculate the cost of new siding. It only takes 30 seconds to see if your house is eligible.
So if you have 50K or more in digital assets, do not buy Bitcoin. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so the masses will tell you to buy all the mainstream coins like Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, Cardano. But what nobody is telling you is that there are actually two digital asset markets. And the second market might just be holding the next Bitcoin for just 50 cents.
50 cents. Okay. I want to hear more.
Okay, so on one side, you have the
You
mainstream
gonna hear more?
exchanges. Coinbase, Robinhood,
More?
Kraken.
Oh,
That's
more.
where all the investors go to buy digital assets.
That allow the influence from foreign governments or proponents of foreign governments that we see today. And I'm not a professional lawyer that goes deep in this, but from what I've seen, you wouldn't have these freedoms in other places, and that is used against us.
What do we do?
It's a great question. I would love to just say, what do you think we should do? But that doesn't go very well. I think there's a number of things we can do. First, anybody that advocates for another country should be registered as a foreign agent.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
So, okay, APEC is not considered what is it, a
Foreign agent.
foreign agent?
Yeah. They're not registered
So
as.
let's say that now they're registered as a foreign agent.
Yeah.
What changes?
They have to disclose everything that they're doing. They have reporting and saying, we did this because of this, we're giving this much money. This is where the money came from. And this is the money that we are advocating others to do. It makes everything a lot more transparent.
Do you think that would actually work?
To a degree, I don't think it's the silver bullet. I think there's always ways around things. I think systemically in our government,